Now, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has returned to Israel, where he's been holding meetings with both the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the Israeli President, Isaac Herzog. Mr Blinken's been on a six-country tour of Arab states as the US tries to find a diplomatic resolution to the crisis. Well, joining me now is Eylon Levy, an Israeli government spokesperson. And Eylon, good to talk to you today. This shuttle diplomacy and the message that Antony Blinken will bring today to Netanyahu, do you think that there is anything that he can say to Israel that will stop Israel going into Gaza?
First of all, Israel has been very clear about what it intends to do now that Hamas has dragged it into this awful war with the act of war that we saw last week, the October 7th massacre, the crime against humanity of butchering over 1,300 Israelis, taking nearly 200 more hostage into the Gaza Strip. Israel intends to destroy Hamas. This is not another round of conflict in which we aim to deter Hamas or degrade Hamas. This is a war that Israel didn't want, didn't start, didn't expect, a war we've been dragged into, and a war we're determined to win. And when Israel wins this war, we intend to create a reality in the Gaza Strip in which no terror organization has the ability to perpetrate atrocities against our people again. Because if we don't win this war, if we don't win this war decisively, if we return to the conditions of the 6th of October before the brutal massacre that we saw on the 7th of October, then it will happen again. It will happen again because the genocidal ISIS-like terror organization that controls the Gaza Strip, Hamas, has made no secret of its desire to murder Jews and eliminate the state of Israel. And we as a state have made a strategic decision that we can no longer exist alongside such a brutal terror organization, and we will dismantle it so that it can no longer harm our citizens.
This new reality in Gaza that you talk about, President Biden said yesterday that a new Israeli occupation of Gaza would be a mistake. It's clear that you want to eliminate Hamas. And if you achieve that, though, what is the new reality in the Gaza Strip? What would Israel do? Would Israel remain inside Gaza or would Israel withdraw again?
I'm glad you mentioned President Biden's interview yesterday on 60 Minutes, because in that interview, he restated his support for Israel's goal to eliminate Hamas entirely. The president has been very forceful in his support for Israel, saying if an attack like this happened against the United States, the US would respond in a swift, decisive and overwhelming manner. And that is exactly how Israel intends to do, while doing everything it can in order to minimize civilian casualties. And President Biden said just yesterday in that same interview that he has confidence that that is exactly what Israel is going to do.
But what we witnessed next?
So I'll explain. What we witnessed on the 7th October was the place of sheer, pure, unadulterated evil. This was the worst massacre in world history, the worst terror attack after 9/11. And Israel has decided that that terrorist regime, Hamas, can no longer exist. What happened on the 7th of October, the brutal invasion, the beheading, the burning, the butchering of our people, is the worst case scenario that we cannot live with. And after we destroy Hamas, after we topple it, we expect to work together with international partners so that the reality that will exist inside the Gaza Strip is one in which no terrorist organization is able. I'm afraid we're in the middle of a rocket siren now and I have to evacuate the studio. My apologies.
OK, Eylon Levy, please do go. Thank you very much for joining us. Eylon Levy, Israeli government spokesperson there.